This is the best killer I've ever seen. Every time he carries out a mission, he will inform the other party in advance. The gang leader was the target this time. He immediately put his men on alert. When you think he's coming up in the elevator, he takes the stairs. When you think he's taking the stairs, he's actually hiding on the ceiling. When the boss found his men outside were killed without a sound, he panicked and asked the rest of the men to hurry to the balcony to check. The roll-up door was instantly lowered. Only a few gunshots were heard and then there was no movement. The boss was at a loss for words and could see through the bullet hole that there was an eye staring at him. He took his submachine gun and shot at the roll-up door. When he was about to call for help, a dagger appeared at his neck. The killer was already behind him. He was a professional killer, Leon. He lived alone for years, and his only friend was this plant, like him, had no roots. He took good care of it every day, wiping every leaf clean. At night, he sits in his chair, puts on his sunglasses, turns off the lights, and the day is over. Due to the special nature of his profession, he only dares to sit and sleep. He is not good with words. The people he contacts most are Tony and Matilda. Tony is his agent who brought him into the industry at the age of 19 and trained him to become a professional killer. Matilda is a neighbor girl who always has a cigarette in her hand and a bruise on her face. She has a father who helps the local police with drug trafficking, a mean half-sister, and a vulgar stepmother. She was often abused by her family, and only her 4-year-old brother had the best relationship with her. Matilda often sits in the hallway thinking about her life, and when she meets Leon in the hallway, she greets him. On that day, her father killed their family after being found by the cooperating police for embezzling drugs. Only Matilda, who had gone downstairs to buy something, escaped death. Shortly after, she appeared in the hallway with a bag of food in her arms. She saw the strong man guarding the door and saw her father in a pool of blood. She guessed that something must have happened to the family. She didn't stop, she forced herself to be calm and came to Leon's door. With her heart almost broken, she rang Leon's doorbell with tears in her eyes and kept praying that Leon would open the door. Leon was just inside the door and saw everything that happened outside through the peephole. He was hesitating, as a lone assassin, only killing people and not saving them. The strong man in the back was staring at the girl with a deadly stare. She was terrified. Leon was at a loss, but he couldn't ignore the girl's plea. Finally he opened the door and Matilda was saved. She was sad, not for her parents and sister, but for her innocent brother who had died so tragically. Leon doesn't know how to comfort her, but Matilda sees the bullets and the gun on the table. She is very clever and quickly guesses Leon's identity as a killer. But she's not scared at all, she thinks it's cool. She asks Leon to teach her to be an assassin. She wants to avenge her brother's death, but Leon rejects her decisively. At night Matilda sleeps in his bed, but Leon can't sleep. As a ruthless lone assassin, once he has a hang-up, it means he has a fatal weakness. The next morning, he asks Matilda to leave, but Matilda is reluctant and asks Leon to take her in. To prove that she can be a professional killer, she grabs a pistol and fires several shots out the window. Leon had no choice but to take her and move. Leon started with the basic skills of a killer, teaching her to shoot from a distance first. The rules of a killer are not to kill women and not to touch children. Matilda learns quickly, and the bullets hit the target with precision, but of course the bullets are just red paint. In return, Matilda took care of all the household chores. On this day, she asks Leon to play dress-up with her, dressing up as different characters for each other to guess. They basically couldn't guess each other, but they had a lot of fun. That day, Leon went out on a mission. Matilda sneaked back to her previous home and found her father's savings under a hidden compartment in the floor. At that moment, the police came. She hid and learned from their conversation that Stan was behind the crime. She secretly followed him and identified Stan's office location. When she gets home, she gives out $20,000 and asks Leon to help her get revenge. But Leon advises her to forget everything that happened before, because everything will be different after revenge, and she won't be able to sleep peacefully for the rest of her life. But Matilda did not listen, she threatened to die, and at the critical moment Leon stopped her. Leon took her to Tony, he wanted to train her to carry out the mission together. Tony is very confused, but can only agree. After receiving the task, the two began to cooperate, first with chewing gum to block the peephole. Matilda is responsible for knocking on the door to lure the target to open the door. Once the door is open, Leon will use iron pliers to cut the chain, taking the opportunity to rush into the room to control the target. After checking around the room to make sure it was safe, Matilda then began to practice shooting. But in the end Leon didn't let her use real bullets. After completing her first mission, the two went to a restaurant to celebrate her first real-life battle. Matilda crosses the table and kisses Leon, just like in the movie, scaring Leon into not knowing what to do. And Matilda looked at his expression and laughed happily. In subsequent missions, they use the same method and work together. Occasionally, they encounter the unconventional, such as this target is more clever, know that someone wants to kill him, directly to the door is a mess of shooting. Leon reacted quickly pulled Matilda aside, took out a grenade, and took care of the target directly. After the mission, Leon found Tony. He told him that if anything happened to him, he wanted to leave all his savings for Matilda. Tony was a little overwhelmed, but agreed to do so. Leon returned home and continued to prepare for his next mission, but this time, he did not bring Matilda along. Matilda was very depressed, alone on the balcony smoking a cigarette, thinking of her brother's tragic death. She decided to go alone to revenge. So disguised as a delivery boy, she saw Stan enter the police station, and she followed him in with the bag of food containing the gun. Stan went upstairs into the bathroom, she followed and pushed the door in. But she didn't find Stan, because he was already behind her, pointing his gun at her. It was only at this moment that she really felt the fear of death. Just as Stan was about to shoot, his men walked in and reported to him that the drug deal had just gone wrong, that his right-hand man had been killed, and that the killer had left a message not to kill women and children. This made Stan think that this killer might be related to Matilda, so he asked his men to take the girl to the office first. It was only then that Matilda realized that Leon had gone to avenge her death. Leon took care of Stan's inner circle and went home, but found that Matilda was not at home. After reading the letter, Leon immediately rushed to the police station, knocked out the doorman, rushed directly to the office, and killed Stan's men with 2 shots. When Matilda returns home, she puts on the dress Leon bought for her and wants to marry him. Leon refuses her and tells Matilda his story. He once fell in love with a girl from a distinguished family. But the girl's father strongly opposed, and on the night they decided to elope, the girl's father shot his daughter. So Leon killed the girl's father that night and fled to his current city in the night. That year he was 19 years old, he followed Tony into the industry, and never had a girlfriend again. Matilda stopped insisting after hearing that she wanted Leon to sleep in bed with her tonight. Leon agreed, but his years of sleeping sitting down made him look stiff and nervous lying in bed. It was dawn and Leon suddenly woke up. After so many years of sleeping only in a chair, he had not slept as deeply as last night for a long time. Matilda went out to buy breakfast and was stopped by a group of people when she returned. It turned out that Stan had learned of their residence and Leon was now surrounded. He asks Matilda what the code is for opening the door, and Matilda gives the wrong code in order to put Leon on guard. No one opens the door, they use the key to open the door and enter the room. At that moment, the door was suddenly closed, followed by several gunshots. The door was opened again and several police officers had fallen to the ground. The rest of the police officers have backed off. Leon took advantage of the opportunity to host a police officer, saving Matilda. The two returned to the room, smashed open the ventilation ducts and used an axe to carve out an escape exit. He wrapped the plant and threw it into the hole, allowing Matilda to escape through it first. The hole is too small, so he has to let her go first, and makes an appointment to meet at Tony's place in an hour. The police outside the door attacked again, and after the explosion, the house was in shambles. Leon was also wounded. He took advantage of the chaos to change into police clothes, put on a mask and was escorted downstairs as a wounded man. He seemed safe, no one noticed him. He turned toward an unguarded exit, Hope was ahead. At the moment, he didn't notice another person behind him. Stan was behind him, pointing a gun at him. It turned out that Stan had recognized him when he was escorted down as a casualty. He then cleared the aisle for him and waited for him to come over. The gun went off, Leon was shot and fell to the ground, and just when Stan thought it was over, Lion gives him a gift, saying that Matilda gave it to him. With a loud bang, Leon finally avenges Matilda, but at the cost of his own life. Matilda managed to escape through the ventilation ducts and remembered Leon's promise to her and came to Tony's place. But Leon eventually failed to make the appointment, and the sad Matilda had to leave alone. She returned to the school where she had skipped school for so long, holding Leon's beloved plant. For her, this is a new beginning and the best ending to the film. She dug a hole in the grass and planted Leon's plants there. A plant without roots can take root and grow here, and he will always be with her. This is the film directed by Luc Besson, Leon, released in 1994. The director said, "It's about two children, a girl and a boy, who are both 12 years old in their hearts, who both feel lost and love each other." How do you think about it? Welcome to leave your comments in the comments section.